I have a lot of steel cut. A lot of parts have arrived. So many parts that even Andy is guarding them. So what exactly are we going to turn all of these parts and steel into? Stay tuned and you'll find out. Okay, I didn't make you wait very long. So what I'm going to be building are mobile picnic tables. I'm going to show you how I make one of them, and just know that my material pile is for 2 pieces. So let's get started. I'm going to start on the lower U-shaped portions that will actually hold the seats or the benches on each side of the table together. So I'm going to fit one together, tack it into place, make sure it's nice and square, right angles, and then as soon as I get it all tacked together, then I'm going to make a jig and just have stops so that way I don't have to reclamp everything. So I'm going to get started. So I'm going to clamp these in, tack them up, and then set stops for the remaining pieces. Just checking to be sure that the pieces are all flush with each other. These are flush to the end. Everything appears good, so I'm going to turn the machine on, tack them together. Okay, I like the way that this looks, so I'm going to take squares off. So I'm going to take those little pieces of angle. I'm going to put one probably about right here toward, get close to the ends. And then take another one and stick it about midway. So by doing this, now I won't have to measure. I'll just set these pieces in, push them up to the fences, and I could clamp it in that way. So let me put these into place. Okay, my stops are set. So now what I should be able to do is just grab the pieces, set them into place, line them up with the stops, and it'll help move this along without having to keep on measuring and clamping the squares over and over again. So I'm going to line up this edge first so they're flush out here, and then just work myself all the way around, clamping everything in. And I'm going to tack all 10 into place first, and then I need to set some little triangular gussets in here. And as soon as I have those in place, then I'll weld everything out. I'll probably just grab a handful of these gussets right now and just kind of put those in as I go along. And I'm just going to center those up, just eyeballing it. They don't need to be measured into place. There'll be 5 of these per table. These 4 are the non-axle. I do have just 2 2/4-inch wall for the axle, which will house the spindles perfectly. They'll slip right in. So there is a difference between the two. These are just slightly lighter. These are heavier, made to accommodate the spindles where the tires will fit so it can roll down the road. All right, these are all together. I'm going to weld them out. will be capping the ends to keep all the wasps out of it, which that'd be really fun. So when I cap them, then I'll finish out the last weld too. Now I'm going to be finishing out these pieces. So I'm going to take the plugs, sit them in, and then also do the last weld. So what I like to do to help me put these in is I just take a magnet, slip it right in, and then I'll get one tack on the outside. To hold it there, take the magnet off, and then just tap it in the rest of the way so it's flush with the hammer. That. Voila. So let's weld it. Set that up so it's a little more flat, so that way I get a good weld here. This is just a dust cap, but this is actually holding the seats on, so I don't want to do a down pass on that. Okay, let's do the other side and the other 3 pieces, because remember, we're not going to cap our 1/4 inch piece because that will have our spindle in it. The caps are done. I have one more step, and that will be to put on these angles on each side, so that way they can bolt the wood to for the seating. Now it's important to note, in order to fit this tube and this angle together, you need to go through and take out the radius on one corner, as you can see I did right here. And the reason being is the angle does not come to a perfectly sharp 90-degree corner. There is a radius here. So when I fit these together, had you not taken out that radius, as you can see, there's play and it will never fit tight. So if you take that radius out, now it fits nice and tight. So I have went through each one of the pieces and grounded out the corners of the tube, so that way these fit nice and tight. And I'm just going to set them down upside down, flush to the ends, tack them and weld them all the way around. Now with the exception of the 1/4 inch tube that'll be used as our axle, then they'll be done and ready to go onto the main frame. So let's get that going. Okay, these pieces are done. Let's move on to putting the spindles in our axle pieces. The first thing we need to do is remove the weld seam in the bottom here. Because as you can see, the end of this spindle is square and it will fit right in there, but until you take out that little weld seam, it won't fit. Just going to take a die grinder, work myself in there, get as far in as I can go. And when I get that cleaned out and I put it in, I'll leave about a 1/2 inch hanging. As you can see, I cleaned off all the mill scale. And then also I covered the spindle in black soot from my torch. That will keep the spatter off of it. So let's clean that out. Okay, that's good. So now I'm going to take and measure a 1/2 inch. That way I have a 1/2 inch to stick out there. That way I can weld around. So I'm just going to loosen that nut up so it is sticking out beyond the spindle. And I'll just tap it in the rest of the way. Perfect. So now I'm going to weld all the way around. I also need to weld this back piece right here. I saved that off because I knew I had to put the spindles in. I'll stand it up on a side and then go flat right along the toe of that weld. Okay, now on to the other side. And I'm going to keep that crown nut on there just so that way it's kind of acting as a protector for the threads on the end of the spindle. So close up of the spindle in the tube, and as you can see, that soot did its job, no spatter on the spindle itself. So let's move all the parts over to the frame and start attaching.